What is up, guys? Winston here, and we're finally in Vegas. It's crazy. I booked this hotel back in like February, and right now is May, and it's crazy because sports betting paid for this room. Sports betting paid for this trip. Sports betting paid for some of my drinks last night. And I'm just here for a little vacation and whatnot. If you guys, haven't been following me, I haven't been posting that much on YouTube, but if you haven't been following me, I've been documenting my sports betting like journey this year. And I decided to take it super serious. Like January 1st, well, it was actually a little bit before that. It was more like December 15ish. I really like took sports betting like super serious. Like because in the past, what it really broke down to, yeah, like there were some bad picks, I picked from people, but if I really did like really deep reflection, it was just all me. Like that was the reason why I took unnecessary. Yeah, yes, I took good losses. Okay, good losses are good losses. I'm not talking about those, but a good chunk of that, a good percentage of that was like unnecessary losses. What is that? Parlays. Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that. Unnecessary losses. I think you know what unnecessary losses are. You know the days where you took a loss and like this shouldn't even have happened. This was just retarded. For me, there's some days I put a big amount on a parlay and a single hit, but the most I will ever do is two legs, and like the last leg it just fell off. Ooh, emotions get high, right? The reward is high, and if you lose, it feels like you just like fell off like some stairs or something. You just feel like shit. Another unnecessary loss or like lack of discipline, like, and I always talk about sticking to the plan, right? So lack of discipline. Maybe you risk too much, you get overconfident, you get greedy. You didn't stick to the plan. Like for me recently, I'm so disappointed in myself. Recently, I know the days I'm not supposed to enter the market, and there's no rules in the market. So I would just enter, and I broke my rules. And you know what? I ended up taking a loss. When you break your rules and you take a loss, oh my god, it's gonna hurt your self-esteem and confidence because that's what hurt me. So, but those could be avoided if you just take a single a day, just one single, because one single is already hard to win. You're good for the day. Sometimes you could stretch for that too. Use that profit to stretch maybe like once in a while, but most of the time, just one single a day. I got rid of that. I reflected like, okay, unnecessary losses are gone. So this year, no more unnecessary losses. I reduced it a lot, a lot. And every stupid mistake I did make, or if I'm testing someone out, I put that on my Notion notes. And I like Notion notes because you can actually highlight. Well, you have a spreadsheet, and then you can highlight the notes. So you add a comment to a cell, so it's so convenient. So I guess the number one tip to start off this video with is just to track everything from now on. So now you get crystal clear picture what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and you're also getting clear data, which we can plug into ChatGPT, and then they give us data to see, oh, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? I don't heavily rely on that, but you can use it for your potential blind spots. So yeah, I started tracking everything this year. I started really like reducing, like how like heavily reducing the amount of unnecessary losses because that's retarded. Obviously, like I said, this year I stuck to singles. No temptation, none of that bullshit. Also, no player props. That's like part of my plan. Singles only. I'll never take anything over like negative 125. Never. Because my plan is to do singles, and you're not going to make any money with like negative 130. Yes, it's a good investment, if it's a lock and whatnot, but negative 125 or less has been working for me for the past 4 months, and I'm just going to keep sticking to it unless something bad happens we're in a new season right now, right? We're in like playoffs, NHL, NBA, and we're heading into summer days of baseball. So, strategies change and you're going to have to cycle, which I'm preparing to do. And I'm kind of scared because, well, there's also WNBA, but, you always, that's the scary thing about being a sports bettor. I feel like you have to constantly be like on the lookout when some of your strategy just starts falling off and you start losing money, and that's where your emotions kick in. Yeah, so nothing more than negative 125. Live bets. I've been doing a lot of live bets this year. It just helps you get better entry. So if you normally like take an over, let's say the game is over 231, I will wait live and maybe try to go like 228. When you live bet, you see fluctuations. You notice fluctuations, and sometimes it does go your direction, but it's like slightly off. But you could have got that entry if you waited live instead of going for that like fixed number for the line. So now let's talk about like my strategy. I don't really take player props. So this year I really didn't really take any player props, but that's more about strategy talk. Now let's talk about like mindset. Just really quickly, just mindset. So as you notice, we're in Vegas right now, right? I just want to talk about what I would have done in the past, right? In the past, I've been to Vegas, and in the past, I would have just done stupid shit, right? Like, let's just say I'm on a 3-day Vegas vacation. What I would do is, since I'm here for 3 days, I would force myself to make a like to force myself to make a bet because we're in Vegas. That's not the way to go. Yesterday I arrived, right? I've been at this for 5 months. Just because I'm in Vegas doesn't mean I'm gonna break my rules, my strategy. I think that's the biggest mindset shit for me, at least. In the past, like I said, oh yeah, we're in Vegas. Let's try to make a bet. Yesterday, arrived. My strategy was Texas Rangers over 8.5, but unfortunately, I'm in a damn MGM Suites, and it's so damn far from the sportsbook. I had to walk like 6 minutes away from my room to the sportsbook. The line was like 8.5 and or 9.5. And then some man was trying to get me into like his promotions with MGM, which is a good. It's like free $250 bet, so I'm not tripping. But the line took so long, and then they scored like 5 runs. Like they scored 5 runs in 2 innings. So my entry's already off. I was a little disappointed. I'm like, damn, I missed out, right? And the old me would have forced something, right? Oh my god, I missed out on this. What can I play next? But the new me that has built, this strategy and this habits and all that. The new me was like, fuck it. You know what? We're just gonna wait, which is today. Because every other play didn't align with my strategy. There's all like heavy money lines yesterday. There was like Celtics live when they're down, but I don't really like taking Celtics games. And then, so yeah, nothing happened yesterday. No action. And I just want to give you guys this lesson. It's you got to be patient. Wait for the entry to come to you. When the strategy aligns and the lines align, everything stars align. The stars align, you execute. But the stars don't align and you're trying to execute, that's when shit goes wrong. Okay? And then long term, which this goes well with like long term thinking. Man, really good example. A lot of people right here are flying out from like a different state, right? To have fun in Vegas. I understand that. I was in line yesterday. Someone was like, "Oh, Mari down $700." I don't mean to eavesdrop and whatnot. I was just in line. They were behind me, and first off, that's a crazy amount. That's what I used to do back in my days where I didn't manage risk, and I was just, I don't, whatever the business is whatever the business, but $700, you must have a really, really big bankroll because Well, according to my plan, at least, you know, you need a big amount of capital. So there's a lot of people. What I'm trying to say is there are a lot of people who just like risking 100% today, tomorrow, yesterday. You never want to risk 100%. And easiest way to fix that is just to manage risk because now you have more shots to take, right? If you risking 100%, you only have like one basketball to shoot from a 3 point line. You run out. And then me, I'm just taking like really small base hits, which compound and accumulate over time. But it goes the opposite way as well. You know, you can accumulate losses as well. So you got to manage risk as always. The very end is strategy. I really doubted my strategy this year. I already mentioned early singles, negative 125. Now here's like the main part. In the past, I would just listen to anyone. Oh, my friend said this. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. And also, what I feel like is a good play, I put more on it, and then what I feel like is a bad play, I put less on it. That's retarded. Don't do that. Don't do both of those. What you do is, first off, you have to find an edge. All this doesn't even matter if you don't even have an edge because you're not going to even survive in the markets. So, if you don't have an edge, you got to find an edge. And it's okay. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. All you have to do is follow the professionals who already have data, who already have a track record. That saves you time unless you just want to reinvent the wheel, find your own skill, find your own edge, take another 2 years. So I have my Instagram if you're interested in some of my picks, my chat room. I send live plays, so that's more convenient. And then I just have my strategy. Everything, all the picks I post in the chat is based on my strategy. If you want to try it out, just leave a DM on my Instagram, pay the tap down below. But anyways, let's continue. That strategy and edge. Do your research. There's so much information on YouTube, but I followed two people super strictly this whole year. I only stick to two people. One person I personally know, he actually is betting thousands of dollars. So he has a lot of pressure and sharpness on his mind. So I truly believe him. I got results from him. So he's part of my strategy. But I don't just blindly follow what he sends. I have my own like filtering process on what I choose. So he sends the plays to a bunch of people, but I filter out what I specifically choose. And same for the person. Second person, I just had a good relationship with him for like 3 years, and I just like to combine those two and just cycle them through the seasons. And that's my strategy. That is my strategy, guys. And I guess the last part of this video, just mindset. I just want to talk about really quick because that's the boring part, right? But throughout the months, what I've learned is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Not to to the extremes, not everything, but it helps. Like if let's say work out and you kind of figure out like what's your way of working out. Do you like to start off slow and build your way up? Do you like to go hard and slow down? And also let's just talk about diet. Like, do you have trouble sticking to your diet? That reflects onto trading. You might have trouble sticking to your plan because the diet is the plan. You can't stick to that. How are you gonna stick to this? Like, you should fix that. And also dopamine. Don't get carried away with dopamine overload, which is or just frying yourself. Like, just, if you win, don't get too crazy. If you lose, don't get too crazy. Gotta be persistent. Stick to the vision. Stick to the plan. Be disciplined. How you do one thing is how you do most things. And one thing that has really helped me is just staying sharp. Stay super sharp. Stay clear minded. Stop eating heavy ass food where you can't think properly and make bad decisions. Stop making bad decisions in general in your life, man. But Yeah, I've been yapping for 20 minutes. Like, I think I spilled like everything. I literally spilled everything, right? The singles, odds, the risk management. I mean, you can play with that. Everyone has a different risk tolerance. I'm not a professional risk manager. I know the higher level you get, the less you risk. I know that for sure, right? People with six figures are talking about making 1% a year or something, right? And then here we are talking about risking 5 to 10%. So you do your research on risk management. I'm in Vegas. We're gonna be doing gambling to survive day like 6 right now. Day 7, kind of fell off with that a little bit. Um, we're gonna be testing my strategy out. Yesterday could have been a winning day. It is what it is. Unfortunately, and it's like 9 in the morning. Probably gonna get some coffee and lunch. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I really tried to give you guys like everything. February to March, I think like accumulated like 12K in revenue, and then like April was like 8K, and this is how I did it. This video right here. So hope this helps. 20 minutes long already. Shit. I hope this is recording. Peace.